Hey all, welcome back to part 2 of meal prep, just to show how I eat outside of my cooking videos. This is what I do in my day-to-day life to fuel myself so I can do all kinds of other more important things while still having tasty foods. And as I said in the first part of this series where I covered all the proteins, I need good food, and I do things to make that happen while trying to make my life easier so I can save time. I always need at least 2 types of carbs just to keep the variety. Tortillas are always great. I'm not going to consider that as part of meal prep. I'm just talking more about things that you have to cook in advance. So things like potatoes or rice, and on rare occasions, butternut squash. So comment below what you want to see meal prep next, and let's get into how I organize my week with these carbs. Now, russet potatoes always work really well for me. I either dice them up into these cubes or I make fries. Both stay well, really good in the fridge. And to heat it, I just have it reheated in the air fryer. Now, I haven't delved deep into it, but there is some data out there that suggests that starches like potatoes, once cooled and then reheated, are actually better for you. If you know more about that, let me know down below. It's just always good to have it fresh and reheated because the air fryer makes my life so much easier. So we'll be using the air fryer for everything. Check out the first impressions of the air fryer that I'll be using down below too. Now, what I usually do to make these potatoes is use the roasted potato video that you can see down below, but also then fuse the methodology with my 10-minute air fryer crispy fries recipe. See, just like cubing it up and then microwaving it for about 4 to 5 minutes cooks them well enough so you can just blast the heat in the air fryer to get that crisp. And since I'm meal prepping, I'm not really in a rush. I cook them as long as I need to in the air fryer on 450 or 440 Fahrenheit until they get that perfect golden brown crispness. That to me is the best way to have this. The first cook in the microwave and then the second one to cook them up real crisp. And I actually tried a very similar method for sweet potatoes. It actually is going to take much longer to cook them like this in the microwave. And most times, if the microwave is busy, I would rather just toss sweet potatoes that are a bit tougher than yellow potatoes in a large pot of water. It's just way more practical when you're making a lot of meal prep. And again, it's either going to be in a dice or in a fry form. And once the potatoes are cooked, then you just toss it up in some oil, pop it in the air fryer, and you cook it until it's nicely roasted. Sweet potato fries, I don't want it completely crisp. I want it soft with some roasted tips, kind of like this. Now, the only recipe that I have for sweet potatoes is, I think, a mashed potato recipe and then some sweet potato fries. But if you want to see more with sweet potatoes, then holler at me down below. Now, what really surprised me is this Carbs rice video that I put up on my TikTok. Follow me there if you don't already. Kind of blew up. I think it's at 150k plus views. So thank you to everybody who follows me there and saved the recipe and gave me all these views. Let's do that with the other videos as well. How about that? But if you don't want to have Carbs rice like I showed there, what I usually do is basmati rice. You can see the video on how to make the perfect rice on the website down below. Or you can make it into a turmeric spiked rice, which essentially is plain rice with a bit of turmeric, which adds a bunch of health components into the dish, like you can see over here. It's not something that's gonna completely boost the macros of this rice, but if there's more flavor in the rice and it's easy to do and you get some side effects of good traits that you get from the turmeric, then it's just a win-win, right? And using the rice, using the potatoes that I have prepped, I make all sorts of things with the proteins that you saw in part 1. I can just have a bowl. I can just make it into a hash when I just put the potatoes, maybe some cottage cheese, tomatoes, onions, and then some meat that I prepped all in the air fryer and then cook it up, and it just turns out so well. It melts so well together. And while there are no recipes for these things, I do put this up all the time to show my daily meals, my daily meal prep, whatever I'm doing in the kitchen on my Instagram. Make sure you follow me there, because there may be a lot that you're missing out on that I'm doing there, which you can then ask me to make by DMing me. And this is how you can really set yourself up. Do yourself a favor. Use some time. This is going to take max an hour, right? If you like, break it up. Saturday, Sunday, or Sunday and then middle of the week, let's say Wednesday. Break it up. Have some variety. It's just one big batch of cooking and then just relaxation and not many dishes for the rest of the week. Very soon you can expect a blog post detailing all these carbs that I have as part of my meal prep in my daily life, along with the proteins and how you can like really put it together to create so many meals for you. It just always is exciting. And I think part 3, that I believe in my head it's going to be what I think it's going to be, that really works well together with the part 2, the carb meal prep that I'm doing, because what I also meal prep are these batches of Indian curries. And that is a life changer, especially for those recipes that really require a lot of labor of love in the kitchen. Why not just make it all at once, freeze them in deli containers, and your life will change. But that's coming up later on. I do show it on Instagram, so follow me there. I'm going to work on that blog post, so I'm going to need some coffee. Buy me a coffee down below, and I'll see you on the next one.